Hi everyone, I'm here today with Claire Miller, and Claire is a local children's author. And Claire, you're going to let us know a little bit about your books and also how they can help people with their children and their imaginative writing.
Absolutely, yes. Working with children's imagination is one of the best things that I have ever done.
Okay, great. And I think this will help a lot of people, because a lot of my people, if they're like me, mums trying to work from home with their kids are maybe normally in nursery, and they're missing out on the education that they're getting at nursery or school. And I think a lot of mums can feel a bit guilty that maybe, they're trying to work and they're trying to deal with their kids as well, and they're maybe not just getting everything 100%. And this is a really fun thing for them to do together that doesn't take that much time, but they should both get some enjoyment out of it.
Oh yes, as I said before, I love working with children. When I work with them in schools, you get to actually find that you're suddenly in the back of a zebra going through a jungle, then suddenly you're in a pyramid and you go in and you meet a lion, and then you go through a portal and then you find a treasure chest, and it's all very logical and it's great fun. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, it is fun. I have a copy of your book here, and it's actually for older children than mine, isn't it? It's for...
Yes, it's for children for about age 8 to 12, that one there.
Right, and I tried it with my 3-year-old, and there was a story here, just quickly, about a spider, and he drew a great picture of a spider, which is there in the middle, and he's never drawn anything that kind of looks like what it's meant to be before. So I thought that was a real achievement. He did struggle with when I asked him, what is the spider doing? His first answer was, I don't know. So it took him a wee while to get into the theme of what it was I was asking him to do. He just wasn't used to it. Hi, Susan. But it's great, and I had great fun doing it, and I think he enjoyed it as well, and I think he's looking forward to getting on to the next story. So where would you start then with a youngster my age? What advice would you give to me?
What I give to you is find out what they're interested in, and then if, say, for example, they said they're train mad, like everything they do is like just trains or more trains, I would then maybe say, so where's the train going, or who's driving the train, and are there passengers on the train, are they carrying anything, and just wait and see what he or she comes back with. And then if they say, oh, you don't want you to play, you just go away, but then you could maybe come back later and say, I'm going on a train journey, do you want to come with me? And you could even just walk around the house pretending to be trains, or walk to the city and go, we've got to a stop, so I think we're at, say, oh, the sweetie shop, what do you think? And it doesn't have to be anything written or formal like drawing. You're just teasing it out of them if you go with the flow for what that child is interested in.
Yes.
Because children won't actually ever do anything other than what they want to do anyway. They're just very simple-minded.
Yeah. And everything's quite self-centered. So I can imagine my son, he would be driving the train. And we would be arriving maybe at a friend's house, and then his birthday, and these types of things. But yeah, that's really interesting. I think we'd have a lot of fun doing that. I think he'd really enjoy it.
Well, yeah, you can go anywhere, and if a child's got a favourite toy, what I used to do with my daughter when she was wee, or smaller than she currently is now, I would say, right, so we've now got your favourite toy, and went on an adventure. Your toy went to, let's say, your giraffe went to the zoo the other day, and they met so and so, and they did this and they did that. And then if I got feedback, then that was fine. But I would just make up a story which was 5 sentences long, just at night time, and then I'd walk out and go, I must write that down because that was really good. And you never always remember everything that you say to them.
Yeah. Okay, so from that kind of age then is probably preschool, isn't it? And
yes,
from preschool into starting primary school, you've got different techniques that you would use with an older child.
Yes, I have been into Craighead Primary School, which is local primary school to me, and I worked with a group of children where I played a game with them to create a character where on the top third of the paper you draw the head, and then you fold the top down and you move it to the right or to the left to whoever's next. Then they have to draw the body, but you're not allowed to look at what's just been drawn. So you then fold that down and move that to the left or the right. And then you draw the legs as well. And then at that point, and only at that point, are you actually allowed to open it up and you find your character that you've got there. Then ask the children to name the character. And then I ask them things like, so what does the character like doing? What do they like eating? What do they dislike? And just to get what I call making a character 3D rather than flat, because if you know they don't like cheese and they're going into cheese factory, you can then say, well, they don't like cheese, so you can work out how they're going to react to the situation that they've gone into.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would say to the kids, right, so where does the story start? And just ask what happens next and why would they do this? And write that down as we're speaking, and then feed that back to them. And then they drew me a picture, and I took everything home, and I created a book for them. And I was really happy to see some of the kids came back twice, 2 or 3 times, because they really, really enjoyed it. And it's really nice to see a child coming back.
Mm-hmm.
So for a child of primary school age, whatever their reading or drawing or writing ability, I'd try and create a book with them, something that they've got for themselves, and that's their own work. And then if they really like it, you can get them to read it to you or to read to the grandparents down technology currently. And then you just feed their imagination.
And is it something to be worried about if they're not interested, or is it a case of you just try a bit later?
If they're not interested, leave them be. And it might be that a child looks at a book and goes, they just switch off, but they might talk to you about something. That's still creating a story. It doesn't have to be written down. So you could actually just talk about the story. If when you're going out on your walk and you see a wee bird flitting through the tree, you could say, so where do you think that bird's going, if they've paid attention to it? Find out what they're interested in and try and take that lead, whatever that their interest particularly is.
Okay. And what about an older child then, towards the end of primary school?
Towards the end of primary school, you might find the children, actually, in my experience, when I get to work with primary 6s and primary 7s, there are children who actually then want to write a story. So you could maybe have, I've got worksheets where you draw a character in whatever style you want, because I do beautiful stick figures. That's about my level of drawing. And then they have the kind of like the character profile, so what their name is, what age they are they a boy or a girl, what do they like and dislike, why, do they have any superpowers, anything special about them, and then start the story and ask them what happens next. So they write a little bit of the story, and either read it back or you read back exactly what they've written rather than summarising it, and it's really hard just to read what's on the page. And then you can see what happens next, and you just get them to write it down, because there are some primary 7s that actually want to just sit down and write a story.
Yeah. So have you got books suitable for these age groups? Do you want to run through some of the books that you've got, or let us have a wee look?
Yes, certainly. I have my first book, which I published in 2016, which is from 11 and up, is called Pure Human City. There.
Yeah.
This is all about Kyle, who lives in the ordinary settlement, and the organisation have come in because they're saying there's just not enough oxygen in the trees, and you need the pure oxygen machines. And the best bit is you become a pure human, and when you do that, you can go and live in the pure human city, and your life will be fabulous. But his mum and dad won't tell him anything about it, and he's really curious. So he's got to go to the library, and although the library's there, he's never actually been taken. He's always had books at home, and he finds a book, and that just sets him off on an adventure.
Fantastic. And how did you come up with the idea for that one then, Claire?
I just thought, I wondered, I thought, what would happen if there wasn't just enough oxygen in the trees? And then my character Kyle popped into my head, and pure oxygen machines and the pure human city, and it all just fell out the end of my pen.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay, we'll go back to that. We'll go back to that one because I've got some more questions to ask. But let's have a wee look at the children's books, the younger ones, the one that I kind of flashed up. I think, is it this one here?
Yes. Yeah. This is it. This is it.
That one. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, I can create stories. This book here is actually based on my work with the children of the Craighead Primary. It's very much along the same vein that the children get to do. They get to create their own story. So I actually have, there is a guide. If I put that, see that, show you, oops, there.
There's a character.
This is Serena the penguin. Mm-hmm. And this, Serena is the guide through the book, because I thought, now, if I was a child and I wanted to read a book, it's a lot more interesting to have a character guiding me through the book rather than just boring words. Mm-hmm. And I thought, great, I'll try drawing a penguin. And I tried really hard, but it did not look like a penguin at all. And I was driving along, and my daughter said to me from the back, and she's really talented, she said, but Mum, penguins are easy. You just... So this is how Serena the penguin who came to life, is because my daughter actually drew Serena.
Brilliant. Just family effort.
Oh, she's amazing. So here you've got a page of text there.
Yeah.
And then you've got the blank page there. Okay. And there's 4 stories in the whole book like that. So the child can draw the picture from what they've had read to them, if they want someone to read to them, or they've actually read it themselves. I then thought that I wanted the child to be able to have the opportunity to actually create their own stories in whatever way they choose, because everyone, be them child or adult, has a different learning preference. Some people like to actually, would write a story. Some people would draw. Other people like to listen. And I wanted to use all the senses that I could to actually help people, and children in particular, write stories. So I've got here pages of prompts. So they see a rocket. And the rocket is, let your imagination take off. What planet would you go to in the rocket? So that's the chance for the child to do whatever they want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that
doesn't matter how they do it. I also recorded, I recorded an audiobook as well. Mm-hmm. And that comes along with the book. So you read the stories, you go to my website, and then you answer the question, and the audio files come down, and they can be put on your device of choice, whatever that happens to be.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want children who, for example, for whatever reason, didn't like reading. They could be dyslexic, or they've been put off from it, or just something that they just couldn't do it, or visually impaired, perhaps. I wanted to have some way of them accessing my stories as well. And that's why I did the audiobook.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's more accessible.
Yes. Oh, well, stories are fun.
And you've also got other, now what is it you're calling them, the pages where they can actually write, they can write or they can draw? And
on my...
I'm going the wrong way here. These sheets here, you've got quite a few different sheets on your website, haven't you, for people to look at?
Yes, those are my activity sheets, which are free to download. If you go to my website and you go to Serena's page, because she has her own page on my website, you'll note she's not just a character in the book. She's like got her own page in my website. Or the books page, where there's information about my books. Then right at the bottom of those pages, you'll find the links to the sheets, and they're free to download for anyone to take, and they can go off and create a story in whatever way they choose.
Okay. And we've got 4 of those available in JPEG that we're going to attach below this video, and people can just click them and print them off at their own computer and have a try at home with their child.
Absolutely, yes.
And once they're finished, you've got a lovely offer, Easter competition that's still running at the moment that they could enter. for a prize?
Yes, absolutely. Well, what I would like you as the parent or the child as aware of the competition is for a sheet to be downloaded and a picture drawn, and then either sort of take a photograph of it or scan it in or attach it to either emailing me at my website, or they can go in the comments beneath this in this post. And I will get them all in and I will choose one. And I've got 2 prizes. I've got this book here. This is one prize. And my third book, which I have had published, is this one here, which is slightly smaller. The difference with this one is that this one is going into the libraries. The libraries wouldn't take my bigger version because the other one's A4 in size, so the child can draw in it. And the library don't want children to draw in library books. So I got this one published, and that's going into the library. So if you're interested, you can get it out of the library when you can get to the library, of course. And it's still got all the same stories, and it's got the links to the audio book. Still get the audio files with this, and links to my website for the activity sheets as well. So those are 2 prizes.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's brilliant. That's great. Now, if somebody was quite keen and just wanted to order your book right away, they could get that from your website. Would that be right?
Absolutely. If you go to the books page of my website, you'll find the information. Or if you go to Amazon and you put in I Can Create Stories, Story Edition, or the A4, just I Can Create Stories, or even in Pure Human City, you can look at Amazon. It's also available in other places, other book sites. There's Wordery and Book Depository as well.
Fantastic. So, as a published author, if there's lots of people sitting out there at home that are thinking, I would love to write a book one day, it's on my bucket list, but I just don't know where to start. Do you have any hints or advice for them?
Yeah, I would say just start writing. I don't have any kind of like writing qualifications. I haven't gone to uni and studied it. I haven't actually I've done a 6-week evening class and that was after I'd started writing. So I would just write. And I know my writing's changed over the years. So when you first write, you might look at it and you'll go, ugh, but you kind of have to go through that stage. Just do it. There's nothing like looking at your own story or reading your story to your child and then saying, that's great, Mum, I loved that.
Yeah.
Because the stories, and I Can Create Stories, I wrote for my children. And my daughter, at one point, she was drawing the front cover. And she said when we were out and I'd published I Can Create Stories, she actually said to whoever we were at talking about when we were out at an evening meal, and she said, and that's my book. Those are my stories. I think I've lost you.
Oh,
Whoop.
I've still got you.
Right, okay, I can see you again, yeah.
Right, that's great. Okay, we're nearly done.
And you know, I thought that was so marvelous that my daughter thought that, or I did read them and I wrote them for her, but she had such a connection, apart from the fact that she's got a thank you for drawing Serena. She has that kind of connection to these stories. And even if it's a story which is 3 lines long, it's amazing, really.
Yeah, it's an achievement, and it's something that you've done together, which is going to last forever, isn't it?
Well, yes. When you publish a book, you've got to actually send. There's 5 copies which go to different libraries around the UK, and one of them's the British Library in London. Right. So that means that all 3 of my books forever will be in those libraries.
Oh, that's amazing! Wow.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that is amazing. There's something to be said for the written word, and something tangible that you can hold in your hand and read. And to think that you've got a book down there that's going to potentially be there and be eventually in the archives and be there forever. is amazing. They're really
Yeah, well, you see, the thing is, what you can do is you get your book and you look at it and you go, well, there's words on these pages, and you shut it and you open it again and you go, oh, they're still there. It's just amazing.
A lovely feeling.
Yes.
So we've got a question here. Oh yes, just a comment here saying this would be great for my grandson, aged 8. We'll need to get it. So anybody that's looking to get the books immediately, we'll have links below this post where you can go to Claire's website and order it. Or I think you said Amazon and Wordily as well, Claire?
Wordery
and
Book Depository.
Book Depository, I know that one. Okay, so anybody that is interested, head across there and you can download them. Now, tell me a wee bit more about Pure Human City then, because it's slightly different, isn't it? It's a fictional novel for young adults, really.
Yes, that's right. It's called a novella. It's 20,000 words. Right. I thought I'd written a novel, but apparently that's 50,000 words.
Really? Right. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
So how thick is it then, Claire?
Sorry?
How thick? How deep is it? How thick is it? Yeah.
Dear, that way.
It makes no difference because it could be tiny words. It could be tiny words. It could be good.
It's let's see. I think it's 96 pages long.
Right. Okay. So a good size for somebody who is just kind of making that transition from, the more children's books into something that is a wee bit more adult.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did give my book to friends to read, and all I heard, the feedback I got was, you can't leave it like that. You've got to write the next bit. And I went, all right, I only thought about the first bit. So
is there a sequel in there somewhere?
Oh, there's another 2.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And how long did it take you to write the first one?
What I did was I went to the library for 4 months in the morning.
Right.
At that point, I had 2 children at primary school. So by the time you've eaten lunch and then you've actually got home and you've gone and picked them up from school, the rest of the day is kind of like taken up. So I had the mornings. So I wrote it in 4 months, and then it maybe took, I think it's about a year and a half from when I first wrote it, due to the fact that I was then doing editing, and I'd never had my book edited before.
Right.
A really interesting experience to have someone looking at my work who didn't know the story. And then it was the case of Kim MacLeod of Indie Authors World helped me self-publish my book, and she said, what do you want to do for the front cover, and what do you want to put inside it? And she said, this is what we've got, what do you think? And a book is not just a book. A book is there's so much more, rather than just thinking it all goes together. You've got to have the right typeface. So I really appreciate Kim and Sinclair MacLeod's help just to actually get it done, because it was not quite a minefield, but I was going, whoa, do you mean you've got to think about that? How do I do that? Yeah, well, really?
Things you'd never consider. And really, I suppose you always think the hardest bit is the actual writing. And it's good that there is professionals out there that can guide you along with the rest of the stuff.
Yes. Yeah. The way Indie Authors World work is that I get the royalties as the author and the publisher.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I have paid money for their services, but any money that comes to me, say if someone borrows my book out of the library, it all comes to me.
Right. Okay. That's amazing. That's brilliant. Thank you so much, Claire. That's been fantastic. That's been so interesting, and I hope there's a lot of people. We'll need to give details of your Facebook page, because we've had quite a lot of people viewing this as we go, and I think if people who are watching it and catch up, they'll want to get in touch with you and hopefully order the book. I can recommend it personally, because I did, as I say, my son's only 3, and for those that have just come on and haven't seen it, I have had a go at this with my son. It is for older children, but we really enjoyed it, and it's given me loads of ideas on just how to kind of interact with him and use his imagination. So thank you so much, Claire. It's been really worthwhile. It's been great.
Great. I don't think I said, but the Easter competition will finish on this coming Friday, the 24th,
Okay.
at 5 p.m, just so everyone knows that that's the deadline for getting your entries in.
Okay, I will note that on the post as well. And we'll post all the details below it, and hopefully we get some exciting entries to that, and I hope people have lots of fun doing it as well. What are your plans for the rest of the day?
I'm going to go out for a walk, and then I've got a story to finish. Indie Authors World are running a wee writing challenge, and I'm working on part 3 currently at the moment, and I've got to upload it into Facebook by the end of today, so I've got some work to do on it.
All right, okay, yeah, so you're under a wee bit of pressure. Well, good luck with that. All the best, Claire. And thank you very much for joining us today. It's been fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.